Ever pondered on the chilling possibility of a zombie apocalypse? It's a concept that's both fascinating and terrifying. The idea of the dead rising to feast on the living has been a staple of horror fiction for decades, making our skin crawl and our hearts race. Our collective curiosity about this macabre scenario has been fueled by popular culture. Movies, TV shows, video games, and books have plunged us into post-apocalyptic worlds overrun by the undead. They've shown us the gruesome fate that awaits us should such an event occur, and yet, we can't help but be drawn to it. But what if this wasn't just the stuff of fiction? What if this nightmare scenario was actually possible? Could a virus, a chemical spill, or some other catastrophe trigger the dead to rise? These are chilling thoughts to ponder. Imagine one day waking up to a reality where the dead aren't actually dead. Picture this. A regular day turned into an unprecedented nightmare. A day that begins with the mundane, the normality we all take for granted. The morning commute, the hustle of the city, the aroma of coffee shops, the laughter of children on their way to school. All of this, abruptly shattered. Imagine the sudden outbreak, an unknown pathogen causing the unimaginable. The first cases appear sporadic, random, but soon it becomes clear that this is no ordinary situation. The illness spreads faster than wildfire, turning the affected into something otherworldly, something terrifying. Confusion erupts like a volcano. Disbelief grips the population tighter than fear. The news channels are flooded with stories of the outbreak, each more harrowing than the last. Social media buzzes with panic, with rumors, with despair. The very fabric of society begins to unravel at the seams. The disbelief is soon replaced by fear, a fear so profound it shakes the core of humanity. People retreat, hide, lock their doors. Streets that once buzzed with life now echo with the eerie silence of uncertainty. The world as we know it has changed in a matter of hours. But it's not just the fear of the infected that grips the heart, it's the fear of the unknown. The fear of how far this will go, how much worse it can get. The fear of tomorrow, of the next hour, of the next minute. The fear of what this means for the future of humanity. Amid the chaos, the psychological impact is immense. Families torn apart, friends lost, lives forever altered. The mental strain is as crippling as the physical threat. The emotional toll, unimaginable. And just like that, in the chaos and fear, the world changes. The structures we've built, the systems we've relied upon, the norms we've adhered to, they're all teetering on the edge. In the blink of an eye, civilization as we know it is on the brink of collapse. Humanity is now in a desperate fight for survival. In this chilling new world, the comforts and conveniences we once took for granted have become distant memories. The cities and towns that bustled with life are now overrun with the undead. The once familiar streets have turned into a nightmarish labyrinth where every corner could hide a lurking horror. Survival is now the only game in town, and it's a game with high stakes. Food, once plentiful and varied, has become a scarce commodity. Supermarkets are now decaying husks, their shelves stripped bare. Scavenging for canned goods or hunting whatever wildlife remains is the order of the day, and with every foraging mission comes the risk of encountering the relentless undead. Finding shelter, once a simple matter of returning home, has turned into a constant quest for safety. Homes, offices, schools, the structures that once offered security are now potential death traps. The survivors must find places that are defensible, where entrances can be barricaded and escape routes can be secured. But physical survival is only half the battle. The psychological toll of this apocalyptic world is devastating. The constant fear, the loss of loved ones, the isolation, it gnaws at the sanity of the survivors. Hope is a rare commodity, harder to find than food or shelter. Yet it's the one thing that can keep a person going, the one thing that can stave off the darkness. In this struggle, the lines between the living and the undead blur. The living, in their desperation, can sometimes resemble the monsters they fear, but the human spirit is resilient. Even in the face of such horror, it fights to survive, to adapt, to find glimmers of hope in the bleakest of situations. The world is now dominated by the undead, and every day is a fight to see the next. But humans are resilient creatures, aren't we? We have faced countless adversities throughout our existence, and the zombie apocalypse would be no different. In the face of such a threat, humanity would not simply lie down and accept defeat. No, we would adapt, we would fight back. Picture this. In the wake of the initial outbreak, as the dust settles, small pockets of survivors would start to emerge from their hiding places. These people, once strangers, would become newfound families, bound together by the shared experience of survival. They would form tightly knit communities in fortified locations, abandoned warehouses, schools, even islands, anywhere that offers a strategic advantage against the undead hordes. But survival is not just about finding a safe place to hunker down, it's about learning to live in this new, terrifying world. Each day would become a lesson, each encounter a study in survival. People would develop strategies, learning how to avoid attracting attention, how to conserve resources, how to effectively eliminate the undead threat. Innovation would become our greatest ally. Humans are resourceful after all. We would repurpose everyday items into weapons, turn grocery stores into farms, convert cars into armored vehicles. Our world might be overrun by zombies, but our spirit, our determination, would remain intact. In the long run, these communities would grow, would thrive. The zombie apocalypse would force us to become masters of survival, to adapt in ways we never thought possible. And in the process, we would become stronger, more unified. And then, the fight back would begin. Humanity wouldn't be content with merely surviving. We would strive to reclaim our world, to push back the tide of the undead. It would be a long, arduous struggle. There would be losses, there would be heartaches. But with each victory, each reclaimed city, our hope would grow. Even in the face of utter despair, the will to survive persists. Because that's what it means to be human. We fight, we adapt, we overcome. And in the end, even a zombie apocalypse cannot extinguish the flame of human spirit. As the dust settles, what remains of the world we once knew? Imagine. The echoes of a world in chaos slowly fade away. The constant gnawing fear of the undead becomes a distant memory. The survivors, those few who manage to outlast the horror, emerge from their hiding places. They come out to a world changed, transformed by the aftermath of a zombie apocalypse. In this new world order, society as we know it has been upended. Cities, once bustling with life, are now silent, save for the whispers of the wind through the skeletal remains of buildings. Yet, amidst the ruins, the human spirit endures. Survivors band together, forming new communities. They rely on each other for safety, for food, for companionship. The concept of individualism, once a cornerstone of our society, gives way to communal living. In a world where survival is the ultimate goal, the value of community and cooperation becomes evident. Cultures too undergo a significant transformation. Art, music, literature, the very essence of cultural expression, are shaped by the experience of the apocalypse. Stories of survival, tales of loss and hope, become the new cultural currency, shared around fires in the quiet of the night. On a personal level, survivors carry the scars of their experiences, both physical and psychological. They are marked by the horrors they've witnessed, the loved ones they've lost, yet they are also marked by their resilience, their ability to adapt and survive against all odds. In the face of such a catastrophe, humanity learns invaluable lessons. We learn about our capacity for survival, our ability to adapt, and the importance of community. We learn about our resilience, about our capacity to rebuild and start anew. We learn above all else about the enduring strength of the human spirit. In the ruins of the old world, a new world begins to take shape. A world defined not by the horror of its past, but by the hope of its future. A world marked by resilience, adaptability, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. So, what if a zombie apocalypse really happened? From the initial outbreak to the struggle for survival, we've explored the dark and unnerving implications of such an event. This hypothetical scenario has taken us through the highs and lows of humanity's response, as well as the aftermath of a world forever altered. Yet it's crucial to remember that the zombie apocalypse, as spine-chilling as it might be, remains a work of fiction. Its true value lies not in its potential reality, but in the lessons it imparts. From it, we learn about the importance of resilience in the face of adversity. We understand the value of adaptability when our survival is threatened. And perhaps most compellingly, we are reminded of the indomitable spirit of humanity, even in the most horrifying of circumstances. While a zombie apocalypse remains a work of fiction, the lessons it teaches us about survival, adaptability, and humanity are very real.